What's up guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm Grant Burton, this is Star Wars Squadrons, and I am reviewing and streaming Star Wars Squadrons. So as you can see, I am waiting to get into a quick match. It's not as quick as they might let on, and that's a bit of a problem. So this review is primarily going to be of the campaign and the story mode, but I am going to touch upon the multiplayer aspect in certain regards. So, straight to the point then. What did I think of this game overall? It's okay. The game was released at a lower price than most games get released these days. So it was, I believe, $40 in the States, and some equivalent price here in the UK. So that has certain expectations with it. You expect it to be maybe smaller, maybe to have less content, and that's exactly what this is. This is a very focused game, very streamlined game. You are a starfighter pilot. That's it. That's all you ever do in this game, really. You sit in a cockpit, you fly around, you shoot the enemies. That's it. So if that doesn't sound appealing to you, to be in a Star Wars world, to have your own ship and whatever else, then this game's probably not going to be for you. So to talk about the campaign, there's about 14, 15 missions, something like that. The campaign at times feels like an overly long tutorial for the multiplayer portion of the game, and that's kind of fine because you expect a game of this nature to be multiplayer focused. You expect it to be all about playing with your friends, going online, having a lot of fun. But that's not to say that the campaign isn't substantial to an extent, because the main campaign, as I'm sitting here waiting to get into a match online, the main campaign is about 10 hours maybe. It depends how you play it. If you want to do all the side objectives of certain quests, could take you longer. If you're playing it on an easier difficulty, it could be shorter. So the main campaign, you play as both the the New Republic, and as the First Order, or the Empire. So this is set a few years after the Battle of Endor, so yeah, it is still the Empire, it is the New Republic. You're constantly jumping between the two, which means that there isn't really a good guy or a bad guy. It's kind of up to you to judge as you want, although it's pretty clear at times that the Empire guys, they're all battle scarred, they're all moody and broody and grumpy and so on. They look and sound and feel like bad guys, even though they're not being presented necessarily as bad guys.
Ready and inbound.
Titan 2 standing by.
So, as you can see now, this is basically what the game is. You are inside a cockpit, you've got all the controls in front of you, you can adjust the power to engines and weapons and shields to suit your needs. You've got TIE fighters, for example, don't normally have shields, although you can customize your vehicles before each battle or each mission or whatever, so you can add shields to them, whereas X-Wings, for example, have shields but have less armor, so they do kind of balance each other out. But back to the campaign now. The campaign isn't great. So the problem with the campaign is, yeah, it's on the shorter side, but it's also really generic. It's really standard, like military Star Wars affair stuff. If you've ever read like the Alphabet Squadron novels or the Battlefront novels, for example, it's basically that but video game form and less interesting with it. And it's mainly because the characters of the campaign are just boring. There's nothing really standout. Yes, some of them have unique looks to them. There's one that's non-binary, so that's interesting and cool to have in there. But the campaign and the story just is not interested in exploring these characters much. You can, between missions, go in and speak to the characters to find out a little bit more about them, but there's nothing mind-blowing or super interesting there about them. And that's really disappointing. One of the interesting elements about the campaign is, so often in Star Wars you'll see like the Empire is developing a new weapon or a new device or something else that's going on that will change the tide of the war. Whereas in this game, it's twisted a bit because it's the New Republic who's doing something of that nature. So, yeah, I'm not going to say too much more on that, but that is an interesting little point. They do a good job of explaining why the New Republic is doing this. So, one thing I will say that I did like about the campaign is some of the set pieces. So, right here, as you can see, I'm on like a space station. Whenever there's like set piece where you are actually at a location where you can weave in and out of obstacles, whether it be a space station or a trench run or asteroids or some sort of debris field, all of that's really cool and interesting. It adds a bit of variety and challenge to the gameplay. But when you're actually in open space and you're just taking down the other opponents and trying to shoot them, it can get a little repetitive, a little boring. But yeah, set pieces are cool. Not much more to say about that. But to get back to the characters, two of the characters that I did like or did appreciate being in this game are Harrison from Star Wars Rebels and Grand Admiral Ray Sloan. So both of these characters are from the expanded universe. Hera, of course, from Star Wars Rebels. Ray Sloan from the Aftermath trilogy. It's really cool that they're in there, although both of them only have really small roles. Hera shows up towards the end of the main campaign on the New Republic side. Grand Admiral Ray Sloan is basically there just dishing out orders. It's really cool to see her in this game because so far she's only been in novels. I believe she's appeared in a graphic novel comic book as well. So it's cool to have like a voice acted, almost live action looking version of the character. But again, they're not big roles, and it's just like a nice little nod to characters, to fans of the Star Wars franchise. But the big problem I think with the campaign is that you play a voiceless, faceless character. Yes, at the beginning of the game you can adjust what your character looks and sounds like. There are certain set examples you can choose from, but the only time you actually ever hear them is when they're like given some sort of confirmation like "go here" or "understood" or "I'm under attack" and stuff like that. There's nothing. You're not going to have like big conversations with the characters, and because it's a first-person game, you never actually see a character. So why would you want to customize what they look like all that much? It's an odd choice. Maybe all they really needed was for you to select a gender and leave it at that. But what this means is this isn't a Star Wars story in which you are the main character. This is a Star Wars story that you are just happening to witness, and you're not really engaging with the story. You're not having a huge effect on the story. It often feels like you're just another cog in the war machine, and that's disappointing as well. So yeah, on the whole, the campaign didn't blow my mind. There are some interesting elements to it, but the main story and the characters are just so generic and bland. There's just nothing to go home about. The set pieces are cool. The core gameplay, while on the repetitive side, is entertaining and fun. Yeah, it's okay. As for the multiplayer though, I'm playing the multiplayer here. There are a few different things in here. They've recently said that they're not planning any DLC for it, which means that whatever's in this game, which are a set few maps, set few ships and characters and so on and so forth, that's all we're going to get. We're not going to get new characters, we're not going to get new ships or designs or cosmetics or locations. So what's here is here and done. That could really limit the appeal to gamers who are wanting to continue playing this game for months or maybe even years to come. This game's probably going to have a short lifespan because of that, and that could be a mistake. But the main gameplay, I've already touched upon it a bit, is this. You're in a cockpit. It can be fun when you're weaving in and out. It can also be tough when you're trying to figure out where the enemy is. Yes, you've got target arrays. There's a radar there. You can change who you're targeting. You can see how much shields and energy they've got going on. There is a tough competitive element to it, and I quite like that. But at the end of the day, no matter what the actual objective is, whether it is go over there and protect this base, or take down all the enemies, or get the fleeing ships before they escape, you're essentially doing the same thing over and over again. And if you don't like what you're doing, or if you're just thinking it's fine, it's nothing special, then this game won't die. But there are a lot of tactics, there is a lot of customization. For each match you can go in and customize your ship. You can adjust whether you want shields or not, certain types of shields. You can adjust which torpedoes you have, or you can adjust what weapons or lasers you want to use, and so on and so forth. There's a lot of variety, which means that you can play this game different from another player. For example, if you're in a bomber, you have to use different tactics to if you're in a fighter. Each ship controls differently, each ship has different mechanics and different roles to play. It is all about teamwork. Of course, I'm here in an online match. I'm not really focusing too much on that right now, so my team is supporting me in my guns. But I have to do what I have to do.
Change tactics.
The final thing to say about this game is the VR component. Right now I'm not playing in VR because VR is a right hassle to set up on PSVR, but the VR component is really cool. It's very easy to put on. You just slip it on and there you are, it's in VR, it switches instantly. One of the things that I did notice though with doing that is the HDR settings and the resolution settings did not switch instantly, so just be aware of that if you are wanting to try out VR, if you are wanting to jump in from standard play to VR player. There is a certain element that doesn't quite work.
It's over. We lost.
But VR really does change the experience of this game quite a bit. The VR really does make you feel like you are in the cockpit. You can look around fully, you can see the environments. The resolution isn't great, I don't think, in PSVR. And speaking of the actual look of the game, I think the game looks fine. I don't think it's anything special, I don't think it's brilliant. It's not anywhere near as good as, say, the other Star Wars games out there, Jedi Fallen Order or the Battlefront games. So yeah, visually I think it's perfectly fine, but not mind-blowing or anything like that. But I think VR is where this game is really going to stand out. I think this is where people are really going to praise it. It's a bit of a game changer because it gives you a new perspective, it makes it more immersive, and the bottom line is, it works. I will say this though, there is a chance you'll get motion sickness in or out of VR. It is a unique experience to be in a cockpit in space where there's no gravity. You can look all around you in all different directions and so on and so forth. So if you get motion sickness, maybe play this in small segments and chunks rather than prolonged periods of time. Overall, Star Wars Squadrons, I think it's okay. The campaign is a little bit throwaway. There are some interesting elements, some good set pieces, but the characters and the story are not great. The multiplayer is fun so long as you like the core gameplay. You are essentially doing the same thing over and over again. So if you like that, you'll like the game. I worry about how long this game is going to sustain viewers and players and gamers alike. How many people are going to be continuing playing this game in 6 months' time? There isn't going to be any new content, there isn't going to be any DLC. What's here is all there is, and there's not a huge amount of chunk in there. There are only so many maps, so many objectives, so many types of gameplay in this game, and that's going to be a problem. I feel like this is a game that you're going to pick up, play the campaign, try out multiplayer a few times, and then put it to the side. Maybe you don't even do that, maybe you just play the campaign, whatever floats your boat really. It's an okay game, it's not the best Star Wars game ever made, far from it in fact, but yeah, for a $40 game, or a £35 game, whatever it is you paid for it, it's worth the money if you're a big Star Wars fan, but there's nothing mind-blowing or great about this. But then at the same time, nothing terrible about this as well. While I did not like the campaign or the story all that much, I don't think it was bad. In addition, when talking about the VR component, this game I feel was designed to be a VR game, but then somewhere along the lines they thought, you know what, we need to up the price of this to actually get money back on it. We need to actually add some content in there. So I feel like when you're outside of the cockpit in the campaign, you are in the hangar bay, you can look around, you can interact with some of your crewmates, you can go to the briefing modes and look around again there, but it's all very static. You cannot move. All you can do is warp from one location to another to get another perspective, another view. So it feels like this game was designed for VR, and then they added the non-VR component afterwards, because it's really awkward when you are just stand there on the spot and all you can do is look around. But that's a minor thing. Again, Star Wars Squadrons, it's okay. I do kind of recommend it if you're a Star Wars fan. If you're looking to get some nostalgia from some of the old TIE Fighter and Starfighter games from years ago, then this is a pretty decent new version of that, I suppose. If this game sells well enough, I can see them doing a sequel to it maybe someday, but I wouldn't be surprised if they don't. As you can see here, it is taking me a while to get into gameplay here on the multiplayer side of things. That's a bit of a problem. I haven't tried the multiplayer too much, so yeah. If you've liked this, why not go on to my YouTube channel, get more content like this, more reviews, more videos, and of course subscribe to my channel. That would be really, really good. I like that a lot. You can also go over to Twitter and Instagram, follow me at _GrantBurton to get more content like this, to get all my thoughts and opinions up to date as I get them. Until next time though, thanks for watching.